First round of the NFL playoffs are here. We're going to break down each and every matchup. This time, we're going to talk about the Chicago Bears facing the New Orleans Saints. A lot of people think this might be a one-sided affair. How do we see it, though? We're going to talk about which players you should keep a close eye on for fantasy purposes, and of course, reveal our calls on who's going to win. So let's talk about the fact that, well, right now the Saints are a 9.5-point favorite for a playoff game. That's, I think, a pretty big spread there. Do you really feel like that's well deserved, the fact that they're such heavy favorites?
I mean, I get it. The Bears definitely have not impressed. They limped into the playoffs. It's hard to look at this Bears team and say what they really do well. I mean, I know down the stretch they ran the ball well with David Montgomery, but like really, what does this Bears team do really well? I mean, they're not an exceptionally great defense. They're not an exceptionally great offense. They're not, I don't know. So now the Saints, on the one hand, I think are a little overvalued. They always are, right? But at the same time, I'm not sure the Bears are good enough to overcome that, but you never know.
Yeah, I think we have to point out the fact that, okay, look, I'm not a Mitchell Trubisky hater. I always feel like he's been a little bit harshly criticized. Not that he's going to be maybe the franchise quarterback that everyone envisioned. Well, everyone in Chicago front office envisioned. He did come on, right? And of course, David Montgomery was just doing amazing this second half of the season. We have to point out the obvious that they had one of the easiest schedules possible up until week 17, where they got rolled by the Packers. Okay, so they faced Detroit, Houston, Minnesota, and Jacksonville. Okay, three of the worst teams in the league. And then Minnesota is not a playoff team either. And their defense, as their own coach said, is one of the worst he's ever coached. So those numbers, right, the passing numbers by Trubisky, the rushing numbers, a lot of their offensive prowess was purely based on the fact that they had such an easy time against their opponents. So, yeah, that offense is not going to face that same kind of lack of resistance from the Saints. And then the Saints are actually going to be getting back some guys. I think Alvin Kamara is going to play. Michael Thomas might even be back. I mean, do you think we're going to see the Saints at full manpower here?
I think we will. I think that was the plan with Michael Thomas. Put him on IR, give him those 3 weeks to heal up, have him ready for the first round. And with this game being on Sunday, it gives Alvin Kamara a very real chance to return. Now, he's not going to be able to practice all week. And they asked Sean Payton, like, will Kamara play if he doesn't practice all week? And he said, we'll see. But come on, Alvin Kamara doesn't need a week of practice. I think he understands his offense. I think he knows what he's doing. He's going to play. So, yeah, we're going to see a full strength New Orleans Saints offense, I believe.
All right, that might make it even worse for the Bears on the other end. Okay, so who's a player that you're keeping a close eye on in terms of fantasy purposes?
I got to watch David Montgomery because he's pretty polarizing right now if you're on Twitter or in the fantasy football, that kind of realm. Because, there's the one side who said, oh, David Montgomery was amazing down the stretch. He was such a value. He's going to be a value in drafts next year. And then there's people who say, like, well, hold on. Look at that schedule. It was pretty much the easiest possible schedule a running back could have. Will David Montgomery have that success that we saw him have down the stretch here where he literally won people fantasy championships? Will he have that success? And if he doesn't, and if he gets shut down, how is that going to impact his draft stock as we go into 2021?
Yeah, like you said, we have to admit that the schedule is definitely part of it. But I did talk about some players right before week 14 of the fantasy playoffs from most leagues, some guys that could be league winners. He was on that list, and he did not disappoint. But it should be noted that when they faced New Orleans earlier this season, he did at least have 89 rushing yards, and a lot of it came on one play. But still, he didn't do too poorly. So, yeah, this will be a true test. Wonder if maybe the hype will become too much in terms of how he performed. All right, I'm going to actually look at a guy I talked about already. That's Michael Thomas. We haven't seen him half the season. He missed 9 games and, of course, missed the fantasy playoffs down the stretch. We really don't know what we're going to get from him. Is he healthy? Is he going to be out there, full force? Is he going to be a decoy? Is he going to be an integral part of the offense if they have Kamara? We just don't know. And you know what? I really want to know what he's going to produce next year, because now there's talk that Drew Brees might not be back, that this might be his final hurrah. Well, we saw with Taysom Hill, he actually didn't do too badly. But I really want to see just what he brings to the table, because I don't know this year in 2020. We've barely seen Michael Thomas. So I'm curious to see how much of a part of the offense he is.
Yeah, it would be nice to see Michael Thomas and Drew Brees back to their old ways before the season ends.
All right, so let's get to it. Before we give you our picks, though, if you appreciate what we're giving you, trying to help you out, of course, for this year and beyond, hit that subscribe button. We definitely would appreciate it. All right, Chris. So, do the Bears pull off the upset?
No, no way. I mean, even if Drew Brees got hurt, I don't think they would beat Taysom Hill. So I don't see any way the Bears pull off this game. This is got to be the Saints all the way.
Yeah, I'm not going to be that guy that picks the Bears. I don't think that I don't say there's not a chance, but still, I mean, if they're getting Kamara and Thomas back, it's hard to pick against the Saints really in any matchup. They could be one of the favorite teams. I know the Packers got that number 1 seed, but the Saints have a really good defense to go with their offensive firepower. There's no way I see the Bears pulling this one off. So, got to go with the Saints. All right, check out our other playoff matchups for Wildcard Weekend on this channel. We've talked about, and we're going to talk about all sorts of things this off season. Hit that subscribe button and catch all the latest from Fantasy Endgame. All right, thank you for watching.